Hello everyone and welcome to this special edition of Prime Prospects. We are at Marvel Stadium. Part 1 of the 2018 NAB AFL draft is done and dusted. Callum Twomey, our draft guru, is with us. Cal,
Hello,
what a night.
Yeah, what a night. It was pretty exciting, wasn't it? Rolled out smoothly, everything went to plan, all the clubs took their picks. There weren't too many surprises, but I think it's all sort of went pretty much as the AFL would have hoped.
And your Phantom draft went pretty well. 9 out of the top 10 you got correct, so well done to you. Let's take a look now at how it all rolled out. And of course, Sam Walsh, as we've been speaking about all year, he went at number 1 to Carlton.
Yeah, and such a deserved number 1 too. So the obvious pick there, the Gold Coast obviously then went with Lukosius and Rankin, which we all thought. The Saints went with Max King, who hopefully can lead their forward line for many years to come. Connor Rozee, Ben King, Bailey Smith were next off the mark. Callum Thomas received a bid from Adelaide, goes to North Melbourne. Chase Jones. Now, he was probably a bit of a surprise, but we'll get to that in a second. As we turn the page, Jackson Hately, some interesting ones there for the Giants. Probably thought they were always pretty interested. Jordan Clark went to the Cats. I think they actually called him 5 times during his flight from Perth today.
Just to make sure he was on his way.
Well, he was on the flight, so he got up with 5 missed calls. So that's a bit of an inkling that he's interested there. Ned McHenry went to the Crows. That's an interesting one there. Eli Smith, the late call up to the Lions, went to the Brisbane Lions. Another midfielder for them.
And let's talk about those surprises now, and we will speak a little bit more about Chase Jones. But there was another surprise, and we had that because we had live trading for the first time in draft history. But it was Adelaide and Carlton that had a little bit of a pick swap. Yeah,
we'll start with Chase Jones because he was the main surprise in that top 10. It was a little bit of a surprise that he did go in that sort of early section of the draft. They had other options there. They had some South Australians to choose from. They could have gone with Jai Caldwell. He ended up getting through the Giants, so that was a tiny surprise. But as you say, it was nothing on the surprise that came about 10 or so picks later when Adelaide swapped picks with the Blues. The Blues went in it, so it was a bit of a surprise to everyone in the room when it showed up on the computer and showed up on the screen that it was their pick at pick 19, and then they went with Liam Stocker. So they gave away their first pick next year for Adelaide's pick 19. And obviously the Adelaide Crows pick next year as well. So they've swapped 2 first rounders for the Blues first rounder next year, which is a brave call because they probably do look like being bottom 4 team next year. So they've given away an early selection to lay claim to Liam Stocker. Obviously they really rate him very highly. An inside midfielder, they've prioritised building to their midfield this year. Obviously, Sam Walsh at pick 1. Stocker comes in. He'll be playing some senior footy next year.
Is there a suggestion too that potentially next year's draft isn't that strong?
Yeah. I think that's probably a fair call. There's a really good top echelon, but at the moment the depth maybe isn't just there at the moment.
Any other surprises, or did everything else pretty much go to plan in your mind?
I think most of it went to plan.
What about Xavier O'Halloran?
Yeah, that was an interesting one. The Giants' last pick of the first round. They had a few options around that mark. They could have gone with Curtis Taylor, could have gone with Ian Hill. They ended up going with Xavier O'Halloran. He wasn't at the event.
Yeah, that's why it was a surprise.
Yes, well, they had about 25 kids there. A couple did miss out. So Xavier O'Halloran was one who wasn't at the event. He's a midfielder from the Western Jets, and I think he's someone who will be able to play some senior footy next year because he has that athleticism, the power. He can go forward too. Now,
there were a few guys left in the room who unfortunately didn't get drafted tonight.
Yep.
Ian Hill's one of those.
Bit awkward for those guys, wasn't it? I saw them afterwards.
You feel sorry for them.
It was probably always on the cards for Ian Hill. I think he was around that mark. Curtis Taylor as well was speaking to him before the event, and he knew he was sort of on the fringe too, so he was on one of that sort of group that wasn't picked tonight, but West Coast like both of those boys, so they have the first pick tomorrow at about midday, and I think they'll both be in their thinking because Ian Hill's obviously the local, the small forward, the talented guy who's probably had a down year through injury, and Curtis Taylor could be that Mark Lacroix sort of replacement. So those guys weren't able to be picked. Will Kelly was another one, a father-son option for Collingwood. The bids didn't come for him. Kieran Briggs, another one, an academy player for the Giants.
Riley West.
Riley West will be taken tomorrow too. So yeah, a few guys in that sort of bracket who will be finding AFL homes tomorrow who didn't find them tonight.
Okay, well, we'll be back here at Marvel Stadium, won't we, tomorrow? All the coverage, of course, on afl.com.au from 12 o'clock. That's when it all starts. We do need a little bit of a rest. And then, of course, the rookie draft will follow that at around 6 o'clock tomorrow night.
So plenty to come tomorrow. And another 50 or so kids will get taken in the national draft, and we expect about 25 to 30 in the rookie draft. So plenty more opportunities to come.
Plenty of action still to come from Marvel Stadium. Of course, if you want to find out more about all of tonight's draftees, you can head to our draft machine on the AFL Live app or afl.com.au. We've got comprehensive coverage with videos and, of course, text pieces in the live blog. It's all there for you. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. We'll see you tomorrow.